Hey guys, this is Luke Machin here, and you're watching and listening to LiveProg.
All right, so a little backstage. Well, a nice dressing room, by the way, at the pool in Uden. After after an absolutely wonderful show by Karnataka. I hope I say it right. I asked Luke, how do you pronounce it? and well, since we have the opportunity, I would very much love to hear a little bit more about the band, because although you guys are around for a long time, I'm fairly new to the music. I knew the band for the name, but I never really heard the music. So tonight was the first show I had, and I gotta say I'm blown away. I loved every bit of it, the music. So, well, can you tell a little bit about the history of the band?
Yeah, so the band was formed in Swansea, long time ago, 1997, and it grew out of some earlier bands that I'd played with the first singer and keyboard player, with a bunch of songs that I wanted to record. So the band Karnataka was formed out of an album project. It was just a project to record some of the songs we'd done in previous bands. And at the end of this recording project, we kind of realised, well, we've now got an album. We didn't have a name at that time. The Karnataka name came afterwards. So it wasn't the start of a band in the traditional sense, where you get together with a bunch of people, you start writing, you start doing some gigs. It was kind of all a bit back to front. It was a recording project to record the songs from earlier bands, and then at the end of the recording project was kind of, well, maybe we go out now and do some gigs. So we came up with the name Karnataka. I'd been there a couple of times on a couple of expeditions to the jungle of South India. So I was looking for a name that kind of meant something personal to me. So that's where the name came from. And it's been an interesting talking point for the history of the band. Just explaining what the name means, where it comes from, how you actually say it. There's been some lineup changes, of course, over the years, which is inevitable with a band that's been going this long. And this most recent lineup started with Sertari joining in 2018. Yeah, 6 years ago. And then Luke, a bit more recently, I worked with Luke on a side project, Illuminate. I've known about Luke's playing anyway for some time. Jack came on board, fantastic drummer, plays with David Cross band, so he had those sort of progressive roots. And then more recently, Rob on keyboards, a fellow Welshman, again, long history with prog bands in the UK. And we did the first part of this tour last year, and this is kind of an extended tour for Requiem for a Dream running into this year. Okay, so you joined in 2018?
18, yes.
And what's your background in music?
Oh gosh, so my background, I've always done singing. I've always been a singer. I've been in many various bands myself, different genre. So I started off in more soulful singing and hip hop. Then went and then did a rock band, which I absolutely, I have a passion with rock music. And then later a bit kind of more synthy, dream pop stuff. But I've always had a bit of a soft spot for symphonic rock. And when I saw that Ian was looking for a singer, the first thing I did was listen to the music, and I was, you know, blown away that this is something that I really like and want to be involved in, which is why we then contacted. I got in contact with you, and as they say, the rest is history.
I'd been listening to Sertari's music. You know, there were a couple of songs that jumped out at me in the sense of, I thought, well, these could have been Karnataka songs. You know, so it was more than just the voice. It was the sense that her musical direction was kind of aligned with what we were doing. You know, there was that harmony between Sertari's own writing and what Karnataka had been doing, and that's important because, you know, you can find somebody who can technically do the singing, but of course the band is much more than that. You're thinking in terms of, you know, writing and stuff like that. So you need that extra dimension.
And that was what was important to me as well. I wanted to. I come from a singer-songwriter background, so always writing songs and working very closely with producers. So to be involved in the creative part of Karnataka and the writing, and, you know, getting stuck in, it's great, you know. As you say, yes.
Nice to hear. It's interesting that you mentioned the little hip-hop background, because I thought I saw some moves on stage, but I was like, I know those moves.
I used to do Wing Chun for a really long time. So, there's a few little stamp kicks.
Yeah. All right. Last year you had an album out. You're touring with the album now, Requiem for a Dream. Well, I gotta say, what I heard, and the title track is almost 30 minutes, and it's to see that track on stage, I gotta say, it's very impressive to do that live. But what is the album about?
So there are a number of themes, but there is a kind of central core theme which comes out on 2 or 3 tracks, and that's climate change. So we've got the track All Around the World, which features Greta Thunberg, speech for the United Nations, and of course the title track, Requiem for a Dream, which really directly deals with climate change. But it's not all negative. There's a tinge of hope through the album, as there is with all of our material, really. And it's just I guess, recognising the planet's cry for help. You know, it's looking at the fertility of the human race. You know, we're incredibly clever. We do some amazing things, but we're also capable of destroying the planet. And it's just it's like an alarm bell, a wake-up call to say, you know, we know how special this planet is. You know, we were kind of influenced a bit by Carl Sagan. That very simple but special photo, Pale Blue Dot, which just shows how unique this planet is in terms of our galaxy and the whole universe. And it just seems insane that we don't do more to look after it. I mean, it really does seem to me insane. And you see politicians arguing not to take action on economic grounds. And I'm thinking, you know, as Greta said, you know, it's like the house is burning, and we're debating about whether we should do anything. I just find it crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's important to say that we never set out in the beginning to write an album based on climate change. But it was through what was happening around us at that time. There was so much stuff that was being delivered on the news. There was the fires, you know, the rise in sea levels. It was so much stuff that was happening, and so it was very difficult to not write about it when that's what's going on at the moment.
And it was important for me. There is, I guess, a risk that it's seen as jumping on the sort of climate bandwagon. But you know, I studied environmental management, graduated as an environmental scientist. So it's, you know, that it's been a 20-year sort of process for me, inevitable in a sense that it would come out in the music. It was interesting when we released the album because we did get a little bit of criticism from people saying, you know, you shouldn't be political. And I find that very strange, because how I don't see how you can separate being political from your life. And I don't actually think of climate change as political. I just think it's science. You know, and the science is incontrovertible. I mean, it's quite obvious what's going on. So yeah, it was interesting. And we knew it was a bit of a risk tackling that subject and including Greta, because if you go on any forum where climate change is discussed, you know, it becomes this very polarised.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as if everybody agrees on it. You know, there's a lot of climate deniers still. People just want to bury their head in the sand. So yeah, I just thought, and we've thought, you know, I think we need to say what we feel and think, and
I think that's what's important about writing, and I know for yourself as well, that if you're going to write about something, you've got to mean it, and you've got a platform. Music gives you that stage to say your message and what you want to say. So I think it's important for us that what we're writing is stuff that we actually believe in. So
yeah, I can imagine that. Well, I gotta say, from what I heard so far from the album, it's a nice way to bring that message.
Yeah.
And even I personally would think that even if people were not particularly interested in the message itself, they could still enjoy the music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a win-win situation. Well, it's very good. I've only heard like 1 or 2 times the album, so I'm going to listen to it a lot more because I'm really looking forward to it.
So, you know, that is a core theme, but, you know, we touch on a lot of other things as well.
Yeah. Well, you're touring now. You've done a few shows so far, a few in Holland.
Yeah.
And you still have a couple more to go?
We've got 14 to go. So
14 to go.
14 to go.
All right, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
But how is the tour going so far?
Wonderful.
Oh, great. Yeah, really, really good.
Great to be back in Europe. Netherlands has always been a special place for the band. So first tour post-Brexit, so that's been an interesting experience in its own right. That's brought a few challenges to the process. Just great to be back. Missed it a lot, and I think looking forward to getting back as soon as we can.
Yeah,
definitely.
I heard, and I saw also on Facebook some videos that you're all in a van together, the 5 of you.
We do a lot of our Karnataka carpool chaos.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it's good that you guys can get along well. When you're in a tight space for a long time, it's important. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say to people who may know you or may even not be familiar with you?
If you're not familiar, check out the music. You'll find us on Spotify. Check out the website, karnataka.uk. You can find us on social media, of course. And just a massive thanks, really, from the whole band for incredible support.
Yeah, and having us.
Yeah. Thanks for the Dutch welcome.